I had salvaged an 1830s house, a Creole. The greenest building is one that's already built. Everything I'm going to show you would have gone in a landfill. And this is 200-year-old cypress, keep in mind. Welcome to Mobile by May, a place where we explore historic architecture, architectural salvage, and real estate that tells a story about our city's history. Okay, so this is one of my most exciting projects I've ever done. I call this a resurrection project. I had salvaged an 1830s house that was being demolished, and I saved all the materials. And we are rebuilding a workshop in my backyard, which is a Greek Revival workshop. Everything I'm going to show you would have gone in a landfill. So right now, all these bricks, we just laid this herringbone pattern patio. These came from the house, from the chimneys and the brick piers. These are the brick piers that we've laid for the foundation so far, and then we're about to start building the flooring system and the framing and everything here. And these are just termite shields that go on top of those before we build out on top of it. But I wanted to show you all these columns over here. These are Doric columns. I've got 4 of these. They're 10 foot tall, and these are going to be erected across the front. And this is 200-year-old cypress, keep in mind. All this cypress, these are going to be my studs in the wall. And if you can see these mortises, you know, it was mortise and tenon construction in that period because they didn't have a lot of nails. So this cypress is just so rare, it's so hard to find. And this is gonna be, all of my walls are gonna be these 4x4 wall studs out of this ancient cypress. Over here, you can see this is one of the beams. We can't use it because it's damaged, but I just wanted to show you conceptually. This is where these studs would go in, right? Into this girder, basically, into this beam. And then I saved all of this tongue and groove flooring right here from an 1870s house downtown on Warren Street that's about to be demolished. It could not be saved, but we were able to save the flooring. And then I've got these amazing beams. You can see some of these beams under here. Ugh, I have to uncover these. But these are all cypress beams, and these are gonna just be displayed in the ceiling. So it's just gonna be such a beautiful project, and all of this coming together. So all these different piles around the yard are all going to go away, and they're all going to go into constructing this building, and then I get to use it to store more salvage in and build more things. Hey, if you're enjoying the content, please do me a favor and like, share, and subscribe. So this is an example of a preservation project I've been working on for the past couple of years, off and on. This is a 1830s, 1850s, 1880s, 1940s house. That's 6,000 square feet. It's actually a federal Greek Revival and then Queen Anne Victorian. And we have totally rebuilt the exterior of this house because we had so much rotten wood and siding and columns and balconies. And we just had to rebuild the whole facade. And now we're working on the back of it, and the fun part's gonna be painting. There's gonna be about 7 different colors, and all the architectural features on here are really gonna pop once we get these different colors, because you see there's different fish scales and beadboard, and then the different columns. There's all kinds of different visual interests here, but it kind of disappears when it's all monocolored, it's all white. So we believe this is probably the oldest portion of the house. This is 1830s Federal, and it's got all the original floors, but I wanted you to look at the ceiling joists in here. Look at these 2x12s. I mean, these things are massive all the way across, and then we've got these amazing beams that go up through the wall with wooden pegs in them. That beam goes all the way up to the 3rd floor. It's about 40-foot long beams. We call this, the nickname for this house is Gumbo, because we've got 4 different styles of architecture in one home. It's an 1830s Federal, an 1850s Greek Revival, an 1880s Queen Anne Victorian, and then a 1940s. And what's fascinating to me is there's little tells with these houses, like the reveal on this is very different than the other part of the house. So you can tell that this was actually previous to this because it has a little bit less reveal on the other parts. I could just envision a kitchen island here with exposed brick chimney and a beautiful mantel, and all these floors repurposed, resanded, and it's just gonna be a project of a lifetime. So what's so gratifying to me is saving all this old material that would have been thrown away. My house would have been demolished. My workshop and all the materials in it would have been torn down. All of the bricks, the limestone, the granite, all of these things would have been thrown away. And yet we can repurpose it and make it something very unique and unusual. And it has such rich character and history to it. And it just kind of harkens you back to a different age. So I love the old material because it just has a soul to it, you know? This is my architectural salvage space back here. And these are remnants of marble pieces. And so what I'll do with this, I'll break it up into like a mosaic floor and make a bathroom floor out of it, which would be really unusual. But it also serves two purposes because these beams underneath it, these are to the 1825 house. Those are cypress beams, and those are going to be put in the 1825 Creole cottage later this year that we're going to be rebuilding. Over here, they're going to be sliding barn doors on the front of the house, and I painted them kind of this porcelain French blue. This is the original doorknob here, and these were butt hinged doors, but these are going to be barn doors on the front of the house. And I've also got some of this architectural salvage here. This is original floor tile from the GM&O building downtown. So we're going to do some beautiful things with that, maybe a bathroom floor or a kitchen backsplash. And then there's so many colors that we can pull out of that. You've got gray or red or dark blue or yellow. So there's a lot of different opportunities there to really make that stand out and pop. And I just love to continue to find old pieces and integrate them into old houses, especially my own. So this is a 10-foot tall stained glass window from Scotland that I found years ago in a warehouse. And I just thought it was so beautiful because, you know, Mobile is the birthplace of Mardi Gras, and it reminded me of Mardi Gras with the purple, but it's very ecumenical. And it also has this red oculus here with the sun coming through it and that cobalt blue. And you can see how these mortised out places where the tenon would go in. And then look at this. This is the original wooden peg that went into it. So I was able to save that so I could display it. Look at this old door shutter. This thing's 10 feet tall. And this is how they had it back in the day because they obviously didn't have air conditioning, so they had to have circulation, but they also had to keep the sun out. And I sanded it back because I really wanted to look at all the wonderful grain in here. And we had talked about this one time. Somebody had said, if you could only run your hand across the grain of this and hear all the voices of the past. I think that's such a cool quote to be able to do that. But at the end of the day, one of my favorite quotes about historic architecture is the greenest building is one that's already built. So instead of rebuilding something and destroying it, why don't we save and preserve what we have and we can repurpose it into something else that's functional in today's contemporary world. So this is a keyhole door. If you see the shape of this, it looks like a keyhole, right? But I found this in New Orleans years ago and I just had to have it because I'd never seen one before. And I had to figure out how can I keep it and use it where I can display it some way. So we just put a mirror in the back, toe-nailed it to the wall, and it creates a lot of depth between these two giant windows. And then I'd use this old plaster corbel. This is from a mansion in Savannah. And I just love the leaf, the acanthus leaf. This bookcase back here, it's kind of my vision, my dream board. So everything in here has a story of where it came from. I'm laying down looking at it and I think about all the different people, where they came from, parents and different memorabilia. So this is a cool piece of Mobile history. They used to call them the floating streets of Mobile because the streets were paved with wooden blocks. And so when it poured rain, the streets would actually float. This was the tree spike, the tree nail I was talking about, and see how it's squared? This is from the 1825 house. So this helped to keep the beams together with the sills, kind of tied everything together. And I've got all these different tree nails. I actually found this piece in the Delta on an old ship, in a hull of a ship, and this was held together with this peg. Look at this. I left it just rough because I thought it was I didn't want to clean it up. I thought that was so fascinating. This is an old banister on the top. This is made out of cypress. And so the reason that they made them round is because they were so smart. Cypress, of course, is the premium wood to use, but also there was never a flat surface for the water to sit on for it to rot. It's got all these different materials from different buildings around the city because we've lost some incredible architecture, and that's why I'm so passionate about preserving the remnants that we actually have now. It's so important for us to save these and be stewards for the next generation so that people can appreciate the history and the culture and our ancestors that helped to build this city. And so that's just what I love doing. Thanks so much for joining us. If you have any questions or comments or any suggestions, please feel free to reach out. Thank you so much.